particular speed gimmicks used in it can really throw you off the timing.
Because of, mostly it's based on how fast you read. If you read at too high of a read speed, then the next note isn't even on screen when the speed up happens. So there's no way you can predict it. You have to like know it.
I believe that's a particular BPM gimmick. It's kind of unique to this song in this game.
Right.
I don't think any other chart really does it.
Yeah.
But it happens.
In ITG, there was like Delirium,
I was going to say,
Robotics.
In Dance Dance Revolution, you have,
right.
What are the charts that come to mind? Evans, First Time. Those charts have what they call, I believe the term DDR players use for it are rockets.
Rockets.
Individual notes that zip right up.
Yeah. That's a good terminology for it. But anyway, let's get back into Daniel playing his first chart in Utopia, which Steve Snowman has picked as, I believe, the higher seed. So,
yeah, I don't think this is particularly challenging in the pattern department. It's got some twists, some turns. It switches up the syncopation considerably on you.
And it these are like supposed to be crossover sections, but even on the wild chart, players just like, nobody does the crossovers. Like they're crossovers at 8th note speed. They flow well. You know, it shouldn't be too much effort to do the crossovers. Nobody ever does them. They always double step them.
If they're not mind enforced, you're saving on energy and time if you can hit it consistently as a double step.
I mean, some players feel like they time better if they don't do the crossovers, if they do it as double steps. Some players feel the other way, so it really, we'll see what Steve Snowman does. You know, see if...
very preference dependent because that does change the travel time between your feet. You go from a lot of travel time to almost none, so...
Right.
But getting through the twists and turns and some of the gallops and the other syncopation you see, we've got an ending slowdown. So let's see if inglomi can nail it. Pretty good.
Ooh, nails it. 99.7. Almost a 99.8. Crazy.
We were talking about crossover versus double step execution and the features of this chart. We didn't even really pay attention to that. It was a clean 8 perfect run. So
perfect. Absolutely.
That's an impressive game
immaculate.
1 opener from inglomi.
That is crazy.
But we've got Steve Snowman pulling up to bat.
All right.
I gotta say, he's got a fire fit today.
Let's begin. Please
everybody's looking good.
It's very sporty. I like the high socks. I like the hat.
And the gloves.
The hat radiates power.
Yeah, Steve Snowman always gotta have the hat. He's always rocking the hat. That's his signature look. Looks like he's warming up on Lemmings on the Run.
I do believe, considering he is local to this area, if you see a full record that's Mass JP exclamation point, I believe that's Steve's.
That's right, yes.
So, no doubt about his talent. You can see all those deep assists.
Bang, bang, gang. Got that crossover technique down. Clean.
He just moves.
Yep. So a little bit of lore behind this matchup. Both Steve Snowman and inglomi are local to Houston. So in our locals, we have several. You know, Jelly Slosh has put on so many tournaments. He's been putting on tournaments since, you know, like the mid-2000s. He was big in the pump scene, and he's been putting on SMX tournaments pretty much since it became a thing, right? So many grand finals have been Steve Snowman versus inglomi. Almost every single grand finals. Either grand finals or winners finals, sometimes multiple times. First winners final, then grand finals.
Perfect combo.
And now that grand finals matchup is happening here.
It's happening right now. So this is an oft experienced locals matchup.
I'm not quite
between
sure
the two players.
exactly where we are. I think this is semifinal.
Yeah, this is semifinals.
Yeah, it's a semifinal.
Yep. And then we of course have the third place tie break as well. Was he doing a 2-song warm-up?
Music to my
I
ears.
suppose so. Just like JGK got to.
That's right, yes. Because this is his first set of the day.
This is my first time seeing this chart.
Big boss.
Look at those people dancing in the background. Got some crossovers. Simple eighth note crossovers. Nothing too crazy in this chart. So how long do you think it'll take you to APC it?
This one,
Yeah, this one.
the full 20, I don't even have a full 20.
You don't have a full 20 yet?
Although I did get Charlene as my first 19, so.
Perfect combo.
99.9.
I did
Almost
get-
certainly a sight read.
I think it was 2 earlier on the wild, so. Pay attention to that one.
It's a new record.
His previous score was 0 perfects and a missed lift. What?
Or we've all been there.
All right, now we're moving into the actual set. We got Utopia.
Hey, imagine how I felt when my first 0 perfect with a missed lift was villain hard.
Ooh. You know, it's got to be some song.
You know, Senpai, when that
Senpai.
happens, I call it getting lifted. I'm certain you can relate very well to it.
Oh boy. You know, you got to get that technique down.
Not like this.
Okay.
Like this.
Select options.
All right,
Steve Snowman going into it, Utopia.
let's see the other side of Game Wars.
We can
shall
see the high score. Daniel's
Are
99.
you ready?
Was it a 99.7?
Begin.
Around there, yes.
Ooh, he's got a little ghost step technique.
100 combo.
Yeah, if the pattern does not end on the quarter, sometimes throwing in an extra note to keep the quarter note beat going. That's how I play personally. Very good for
That makes
timing.
sense, yeah.
But I think Steve Snowman right now is just showing his consistency with accuracy. Got the first third or so.
200.
Very
There's that
clean.
crossover.
Got the moves.
Here comes the runs.
300 combo.
Absolutely
Nice.
insane. What the hell?
100 combo.
that is why Steve Snowman is one of the highest seeds. Oh, but don't forget about that slowdown coming up.
Let's worry about it when we get there, shall we?
We're there.
I guess we can worry about it.
Every time.
Just overcompensated for it a little at the start, but
Your skill is
look at the rest of that timing graph.
Oh my gosh, 4 perfects. And Steve Snowman takes it. Where did inglomi go?
Please enter your name.
SJB?
Where did he go me? I should not be allowed to make jokes like
Get
that.
out of here. Take your plane and leave, pilot.
Yeah. I hope it leaves on time. That 1 hour delay in Newark was crazy. There's nothing quite like someone getting on the podium and going, the mechanics have said this plane has a mechanical issue and needs to be decommissioned. Like, you guys
Just like,
flew in on
get
the
to
plane,
get rid of that
and they were
plane.
just like, nah, put it back in the shop. And they didn't go into detail, but I'm just like, I'm glad to not be on that thing.
Difficulty confirmation.
I'm trying to make it to my destination in one piece. I don't need, like, the patch out emergency exit to fly off.
Something's always got to go wrong.
Despite my username, I'm not flying that thing myself.
Wait, what the heck? Wait. Wait, isn't it Daniel's pick?
Yes.
He's not warming up, is he?
Difficulty confirmation.
Did he
Options.
pick Zodiac? But that was Steve's Protect, right?
I'm gonna say that's a bold maneuver.
That's a bold maneuver.
Well,
Let's see if it pays off for him.
let's be real today. We looked at this song in group stage, and not the strongest showings across the board.
I mean, it could be that Steve Snowman protected this song, not knowing that inglomi was confident on it. It's
Keep
true.
in mind, we
It's
are
possible.
trying a format here where your protect is not necessarily your pick. It just protects it from being vetoed.
That's true.
I can think of no flex harder than to pick your opponent's protect and wait on them.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's one thing when you make a protect and then you lose on it, or your opponent loses on their protect. You know, you could have had a bad game. You could have bossed up. Making that pick, though, it's like, all right, bet. Let's run it.
Ooh. Daniel's got an interesting ghost step technique to help him sync up with the.
Yeah, he immediately goes into the triplets. So whether it starts on the up or the down beat doesn't matter because he's just stepping it the whole way through.
Right.
Very clever.
I like that. I'm doing that
I'm
the next
saving
time I
that for
try.
later.
Next time I play this song. I wonder if that's why he picked this song, because he had a consistent technique for those triplets. The 12 note jacks as a 24th note drill,
All right.
technically.
Close it out pretty cleanly, but I think that miss is
That
a
miss
little
is
painful.
definitely going to cost him, but we'll see.
We'll
Because
see
anything
if-
can happen. Does Steve Snowman have the triplet technique down? Because he could not. Even, you know, high level players like Spencer, I think he got a low 99 on this. I can't remember exactly, but
I had one of the best scores in the group stage, and I had a 99.1.
exactly. So
You might have been on the mic for that. I'm not sure.
I was.
Select
It was.
difficulty mode.
It's a tough one. This is a tough song, so we'll see. We'll just have to see what happens.
Full mode selected.
Now,
Select
sources
music.
being the SMX app tell me 2 people in the world have this APC. One of them's Dante, and the other is Steve Snowman.
Oh,
So
man.
I think I don't think it's any surprise he protects one of his many, I assume, 22s with a perfect score. After all, I do believe Steve Snowman recently sealed the deal on My Own, which is
Oh,
a
yes.
brutally difficult 22.
Yes, that is a crazy hard chart. Inglomi has, you know, they've been pretty much neck and neck for most of the time they've been playing, but Daniel has been going to school and focusing very hard on getting to graduation. So he hasn't been able to practice very much for the past few months.
Focusing on your studies. How respectable.
Very respectable, but it's not going to help you win any tournaments, unfortunately.
Alright, well, I think to none of our surprise, Steve Snowman has a very clean start already on this chart.
100
Yep.
combo.
It's very hard to time this beginning because the song just goes so slow compared to other songs.
It's interesting, he seems to have a slightly different ghost step technique for this.
Yeah, he's definitely picking up some yellow perfects on it.
I could have sworn for the first set of the triplets, he was throwing an extra one at the beginning. Almost
Right.
as if like he was starting them all on the up or the down uniformly.
He was
rather than
kind of
just-
doing like a 24th gallop into it to put the, or the, I guess it would be the 8th note upbeat.
I'm having trouble intuiting it in my mind, but you know, he's one of the best doubles players in the world for a reason, so who am I to be like, I don't agree with that assessment, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Simply
if,
the better player here.
if you've got a technique that works for you, you got to stick to it.
He's got it very clean so far, and only a few perfects. So I think we're
just
looking
that
at
one
a
section.
convincing victory here.
Well, let's see.
Seals the
Yep,
deal.
he seals it.
Just below a hex. Pretty good for a one-off run.
Yep, all of those perfects, every single one of them was in that triplet section.
Are you sure you want to quit? Score
He
summary.
needs to try out that inglomi technique. Alright, Steve won both of those, right? I don't have it. I'm sorry that we have not updated the winners, but Steve Snowman has won the first two picks, which were Utopia and Zodiac.
Word, I don't think it was a perfect count tie. I believe Steve had 10 and Inglomi had 12 in the miss.
Right.
But a decent bit of timing variation in
Yeah.
those perfects.
I do think it would have been very, very close if Inglomi had not gotten this.
Choose music.
I'd have to do some math on it, exactly how much each perfect would be worth, but
I think I heard what song we're going to next. I'm waiting for confirmation of that once the player selects it on screen.
big blue bouncy ball.
Confirm selection. Options.
That's the one.
Get ready. Switch.
Hopefully, Daniel knows the switch feat. Steve's yells were pretty out in the jack.
So I came up earlier in chat, you know, I made commentary that this can be pretty challenging to pick up on, but most difficulties have a predictable pattern for the song's rocket gimmick, let's say.
Right.
So I don't remember how Full Plus does it, but we're going to find out shortly.
I did things out of order again, so I messed up the draw sync. So I gotta stop. Whatever I'm doing, I need to stop.
Starting off a little early.
You don't want to start off sync on this because a good portion of this chart is slow down.
Yes. This slowdown can definitely get you if you're not paying attention.
Hey, what's that most recent Nintendo console?
Switch.
Thank you. Yeah, the little vocal cue tells you exactly what you need to do. foot switch.
It's a foot switch on this one, and they mark it as a run, which is interesting.
That's the same as wild.
Right. Yeah. There are some other charts that use runs to mark foot switches, but it's not seen that often. It's mostly used when you don't want, the chartist doesn't want to care about timing for the foot switch so much as the technique.
Which, it would be a little brutal if you had to time that foot switch in addition to that speed up.
Right. But, of course, you know that it's a foot switch, but you don't necessarily know what the next note is going to be after the foot switch. That's the big problem.
In this case, I know where to call it out earlier. You kind of just do a sweep from the panel. So you saw, for example, you had one that was on center, on right side. The roll was then a double hit on left, and then it was player one right was the note that followed it.
Right.
So as soon as you intuit that pattern and you see it, it's easy enough to know, okay, you don't have to read the chart necessarily. You just know the pattern that follows, approximate the steps from there, and then just work the timing into your mind.
Right. I think the only time that doesn't work is like, I think in hard
Hard plus is
plus
a little challenging.
has like, there's like an up that comes out of after the switch.
I had to write the pattern that followed. So it was the first note after the rocket, and then the note that followed, and then
Right.
I had to write another note saying, hit this one with your one foot or the other, so then the pattern would flow. I
Right.
wrote it out on my notes app on my phone in like big font, and I put it in my cup holder so I could glance down and reference it.
Like, oh God, what's the next one? Next one's coming.
Actually,
let's
worked.
see what you got.
As someone who recently picked up a tech start on a big 3,000 ball Dual Plus, I can tell you how it goes. The first of the four breaks the pattern. I believe the first one is you jump from player 2 to player 1 side and you hit center, right, center. The rest of them follow. You make the jump. The arrow that's closest to the side you jump from. So if you go from player 1 to player 2, I think it's left. It does that, then the other side, so left to right, and then center is the last note for the remainder of the three.
You basically have to memorize it. So good luck.
I can write it out for you later. And let me know if you can hear me better now.
Okay.
I pushed my mic a little closer. TLDR,
Confirm your selection.
2, 3, and
Select
4
options.
have you jump to the other side, and then you do left, right, center, or center, right, left, depending on which way you're coming from. Left, right, center,
Step
or right, left,
like
center.
you've never
And then
stepped
the first
before.
one is, I think, center, right, center.
Good luck.
Ready.
When in doubt, all you gotta do is
Begin.
switch.
That's all you gotta do. Alright, let's see how. Ooh. Steve also gets on early, right at the beginning, just like inglomi.
Struggling to lock in on the timing on the slowdown.
100 combo.
See if he's got the switch memorized.
I think he understands.
Switch.
When in doubt, mash.
200 combo.
Another thing that we haven't discussed is there's also, in the upbeat 16th parts, there's up, center, down crossovers.
Yeah, that's quite the pattern too. You have to really turn to hit those.
Yeah, a lot of, ooh, a miss.
You got that run pretty clean otherwise, though.
Ooh, he's giving up.
He gives up.
Song and
He knows that he can't match Daniel's 99.3.
that was pretty
You
99.
know,
good.
not a bad idea to save some energy.
Save that
Wait a
energy.
second. Are you sure?
You know,
Therefore,
he's got a 2-0 lead. Now 2-1. But he's still got the
2-1.
lead, so he's got room to work with.
if inglomi wants to take this one, he's got to keep it going. He's got to keep that energy, push it all the way to the end.
Now the question I have is, are we going to see more of the softball pick with the 21 and grab it while we can? Or are we just going to see another repeat of like JJK hints where we just go into hard stuff after hard stuff?
I mean, they're running out of easy stuff.
I think by virtue of it being a 21, grab it while we can looks pretty tame in this card draw, but
Yeah.
I know Sicko's
That's the
Post
last
and Live
one
Air
left.
Arvita are not easy.
Yeah. And Zico's post on every mode is like painful. I think that's a Jonas chart, if I remember correctly, which is crossovers on crossovers all over the place. Oh boy. Steve Snowman picked Liber Arvita. Oh boy.
Yeah, this should be a fun one to watch. Again, kind of analogous to the other stamina-focused 24s we saw with 16 runs, but this is also going to throw in, I think, a couple of spicy bursts and some triplet sections as well.
This is a fairly low BPM song for it to be a 24. So that means you know it's going to have some crazy tech in there.
Well, now I'm curious because, like the freak I am, I have stop and go's BPM committed to memory. I don't have night moves committed to memory, so I got to do. Thankfully, the SNX app has a little information.
Yep. You can search for a song, and then you can click on the top right. There's a little info button, and it gives
See
you
the BPM,
the BPM, the chart author, the
record label.
the record label, and all of the charts, their difficulties, and if it was published before 2022.
If applicable, it's credit.
Yeah, the creditor.
There's still, I think, like some team charts that have credits in newer releases.
Oh, really? Like now?
Yeah, recently.
Oh, really?
I'll have to go back and check, but yeah, this is the same BPM as Night Moves. And very similar patterning, if you ask me. Maybe a little more emphasis on the side-to-side, less so on the twist. I say that, and then we get the classic,
The twist.
like
yeah.
the
up,
beginning
center,
wild
right.
S
Yeah.
center twist. Yeah.
More centers. I gotta have somebody translate these lyrics. Because, like, the chorus is clearly in English, except for Liber Arvida, which is assumedly Spanish. But the verse is in Japanese. How did this happen? The 24th burst.
Yeah.
And the foot switch on the
triplet foot
triplets.
switch. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Not like the rest of this chart was hard enough.
Yeah.
Got to switch it up from a relatively twisty stamina chart into some tricky little bursts. 98 is respectable though.
98's a good score on a 24. But that section with the earlies and misses are almost certainly going to cost him. We'll
Yeah, it looks
see.
like inglomi was early overall looking at the sync graph.
Mhm.
Definitely drifted towards the earlier side and then
Yeah.
had a little bit of the accuracy blow up in the 24th burst,
24th
but
one, yeah.
strong showing nevertheless.
Yep. I mean, it's
It's easy enough for me to say, like, look at this mistake that had occurred here.
Yeah.
But, I know I'm not getting on the pad, and I'm not ripping 98 on the 24 anytime soon. So, all respect to these players. They're very good at what they do.
yep. I
It may
mean,
not be a score up to their standards, but it's still a very impressive showing in the tournament setting.
a lot of times on these relatively slower songs, like the tendency is just to rush because we have so much practice in doing 24th runs on stuff like Shusha, Utopia, you know, faster stuff. We've trained our brain. Like, I need to be able to run, like do these big runs back and forth.
Especially like a sustained run on a slower BPM song is a physically different feeling than a shorter burst on a faster one.
Right. You almost want to like purposely slow yourself down, feel every beat, even the 16ths, the ticka 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 ticka. You know,
Alright.
just to make sure that you don't rush it.
Steve Snowman takes the pad. Let's see what he's got.
See if he runs into the same issue that inglomi did on that 24th run.
both players are definitely leaning towards the earlier side with their execution.
Yeah.
It's the beginning so far for both players. Very clean though.
Yep. Steve Snowman didn't get any earlies on the weird center button bursts.
What I'm really seeing now, watching Steve Snowman play in person for the first time, I feel like his play just exudes confidence. He
Right,
knows the
yes.
turns, he knows the crossovers, he's got the timing down pat. So I feel like he's just executing this without thought or concern. It's very nice to watch.
Interesting to note, neither inglomi nor Steve Snowman own an SMX cab at home. So both of them play exclusively in the arcade and at private residences like Jelly Slosh in my
All right,
house.
here we go. Wow.
Holy crap. What immaculate execution of that 24th run. That was insane.
Clean.
Incredible score. And that means that Steve Snowman takes the set.
3-1.
3-1. Still a great showing from inglomi